Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. It is Sunday night, and that means only one thing. It is time for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by my Private Cellars. Yes, we are here tonight at Kansas Speedway. There is no place like home. We are looking forward to this race indeed. It is round number 9 of the championship of season 6. And, well, the points reset has come into effect. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I'm, as ever, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you. Joining me up here in the booth, I have Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, buddy?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to be back here on a Sunday night for some V8 action and at one of my favourite tracks.
No, absolutely. A beloved track by many, Kansas. It doesn't look too different from some of the other tracks we go to, but it does feel it for sure. And we also have Mr. Matt Hunter. How you going, Matty?
Yeah, going good. Yep, back to Kansas.
Absolutely. We've got our ruby slippers on and we're ready to go tonight for the race. Just looking at the weather forecast tonight. It's a relatively nice evening, a little bit cloudy, not too much wind in the air, 18 degrees air temperature, 19 degrees track temperature. The drivers will be delighted with that tonight. We'll make sure those tyres get in a nice operating area. We are going to be racing for a 134 lap race tonight, and we should be looking for a good one. They're just doing qualifying at the moment. We'll run through those details in a few moments, but quickly we're going to look at the championship standings because we have had the points reset come into effect, and that means the man that has the 4 wins under his belt, Gary Wellman, is at the bottom of that list of the 6 drivers in contention. Gary Wellman down there in 6th position, 48 points. In total, so he's sitting down at the bottom. Up at the top, though, it's Justin Whitcher in the lead with that victory last time out, giving him a lead of 35 points. 28 points down. Sorry, a lead of 69 points. There we go. I was looking at the wrong thing. 63 points behind. 63 points sits Raymond Yeager, 6 points behind the leader. 14 points back is Craig Rothie in 3rd. Chris Finley is the first of the Sim boys up there in 4th. 16 points off the lead. 17 points down is season 5 champion Troy Davidson, 17 points off the lead, and 21 points down is Gary Wellman in 6th position. Gary's going to have to do some special driving tonight to get himself back into contention with the championship. Looking at the teams quickly, and Pinnacle jump up into the lead, 297 points for them up in 1st. Sim Boys sit 2nd at the moment with 292. Inside Lane, Sim Sports are having a good season with 265 in 3rd. And then Rogue Sim Sports knocking on their door with 262. Southern Stars trying their best to get up there with 261. It's very close for the team's championship at the moment. So, Kansas, Mark, it is a track that you love. Tell us about it.
Go fast, turn left. No, the tricky bit here is coming back onto the main straight and down across that inside. A lot of guys will get down near that grass, and they've really got to be careful when they come back up onto the main track because it is a fairly steep rejoin at turn 2 there. And that can see you into the outside side fence. But tonight with a bit cooler weather, bit cooler track, and big aero on these cars, it should be okay. I expect some real close door-to-door racing and nose to tail racing. The turn 4 also tends to catch a few people out here and there. If they get up too high, that fence just seems to suck you in, and that big magnet on the behind the safety barrier.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's going to be some fun.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that. And taking pole position tonight for Rogue Sim Sports, good for their team's championship, is Mr. Craig Rothie, and good for his championship title shapes as well. Troy Davidson sits on his outside, making up the front row of the grid. Kay Donnelly sits next to Aaron Dillon on row number 2. It's a Sim Boys lockout there. Chris Finley lines up next to Darren McKenzie on the 3rd row. It's Shay Mello next to Raymond Yeager on row number 4. I'm sure we'll see some fireworks on that 4th row tonight. Row 5 is Gary Wellman and Andy Barber. Gary Wellman back from his sojourn over to Vietnam. That's what I was looking for. Yep. Brain switched off there for a moment. Row number 6, we've got Adam Malone and Jai Schultz lining up next to each other. Row number 7 sees Nicholas Walsh and Aidan Schultz lining up. Row number 8, we've got Justin Whitcher and Kim Rothie. On the 9th row, it's Luke Crum and Derek Jacobs for an inside lane lockout. Ash Nazir lines up next to Mitch McIntyre on row number 10. Row 11 sees Greg Spencer next to Peter Matson. On the 12th row, it's Christopher Tomlin and Kobe Jordan for another inside lane lockout. And then Mick Rush and Joseph Grenshaw did not set times. 26 cars out here tonight. Plenty of cars for the track. Plenty of action to come. And, well, as you're saying, Mark, the tri-oval here is tricky. When you drop down to that low line, it's about sort of 9-10 degrees of banking you've got to get yourself back up onto, and you sometimes find yourself getting really unsettled when you jump back up there.
Yeah, and especially with how low these cars are on that nose. I haven't done many laps here in the supercar, so I can't really say, but with how low these cars are, I would expect to see some bounce through that front splitter.
Yeah, absolutely. A little vibrate through there, and that will unsettle the air and make it a little bit fun to drive for a couple of moments as they pull out here tonight for the Private Cellar Australasian Supercar eSeries. As we say, it's race 9 of 11 of season 6 of the championship, and well, we've been treated to some great races. We're into the final few rounds though tonight, and the end of the season is getting closer and closer with each race run.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'd be looking out for Jai Schultz tonight. He didn't have a good night last night at Road America in the NASCAR, so he'd be looking to make amends tonight. So hopefully I don't put the mocker on him, and he's my money tonight.
Absolutely, as away they go. Let's shut up and enjoy these cars roaring around here at Kansas Super Speedway. And as they roar away, it's Craig Rothie in the lead. Kate Donnelly looking to get a monster run on the inside. And look at Raymond Yeager. He's flown up from his starting position, up 5 spots already down on the low line. As Kate gets loose. Big wreck up at the front. That's caught Craig Rothie out as well as Kate Donnelly. What happened there? Kate Donnelly catching the apron and has a huge moment and a huge wreck for the start of tonight's race, Mark.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying about getting down on that below that line and just catching that apron, and it's really thrown him unstable, and it's thrown him up track. And just looking at those cars, there's not a lot of places where a lot of people could have escaped. Aidan Schultz done well there to pull that Golden Octopus car up.
Yeah, but for once, Aidan Schultz getting lucky. That's an odd thing to say. But he was absolutely in sort of a decent place to get the brakes on, and luckily nobody collected him from behind. But you can just see Kate just gets on the low line. He clips the apron there, and it just unsettles the front of the car. He just can't keep it in the right direction. Spins him up into Craig Rothie. Really, really unfortunate there for Craig, because he was hoping to have a good night tonight to help with his championship run. And this is going to be a disheartening moment for him and the team. And you can see that also Justin Whitcher took a huge whack into one of the Sim boys as well. So quite a few championship contenders getting caught up in that one.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good night. There's some heavy damage done on the front of that Pinnacle car of Justin Whitcher's, and that's not going to help him around here with that aero.
Troy Davison got a huge whack there. So Justin Whitcher, Christopher Tomlin, Troy Davison, Craig Rothie, Kim Rothie, all in for major repairs. They've all received the dreaded meatball, and those are some championship contenders in that group as well. So that's some big scalps early on in this race.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a tricky little track. This well, it's not little, but yeah, it's that apron that will catch people out all the time.
And so just watching there, the pinnacle cars, Justin Whitcher, I think his engine has gone on him as he got pushed around by his teammate there. And that's how much damage went to the number 12 for 29, pushing his teammate to the pit lane. So he doesn't have to incur the tow around. But I've got to say that car is very much going to be in for a lengthy old repair job. So big movers and shakers in that one. People that got sort of relatively through unscathed. Kobe Jordan looks like he might have made it through pretty well. I'm just waiting for everything to sort of settle down here. His car does not look too damaged. The 080. Derek Jacobs also getting up there, but I think he may have got himself a black flag, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Just with
Derek
all
and
of the
Mitch.
yeah, just with all the sorting out, people trying to get back to the lane, trying to survive, trying to recover from that, it threw a lot of people out. But it has put a lot of people up the field. Adam Malone up in 5th. He's come up nicely.
I can confirm too, Carl, that Justin Whitcher's motor did blow on him.
So, pace car lights are going out once more. And we're going to go back to racing. Hopefully, we're going to see more than a lap and a little bit here. And we can see some of these drivers getting up to pace. But we've lost a lot of vehicles from this race already. And we go back to racing. It's Aaron Dillon taking the lead, moving himself up into first position. He gets a big jump over Shay Mello behind him, moving himself along. And well, we know one thing about getting a huge jump at the start. It means you get a huge draft behind you. Shay's trying to run himself up there. We saw him up the front of the field last time out. He's hoping to get the Rosa car up there and have another good run. Aiden Schultz moving forwards as well, but on the low line it's Gary Wellman scything his way through the field, and well, the 45 is back, ladies and gentlemen, and the mean green machine of Gary Wellman is up into P2 already.
Yeah, those two lead cars are Kai and Gary, Aaron and Gary have got a nice little gap already. So let's see if they can work together and keep stretching that little bit of a lead they've got.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people are coming to pit lane as well, just going to top up the fuel. Cars that didn't was Aaron Dillon and Shay Mello, Kobe Jordan, Andy Barber, and Joseph Brenshaw. They decided to stick it out, so they're going to be a little bit lighter. But perhaps keep an eye on them as the race goes on. If we run green, they're going to have a little bit less fuel in the tank to play with. We've got 126 laps left here, of course. If you're new to the series, well, first of all, welcome to Forward Sea Streaming. We hope you're enjoying the race. Of course, with the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by Private Cellars, they only get one set of tyres to change onto in the race. They get the set they start on, and then they get one set to change onto during the race, which adds a little bit more strategy on some of these tracks. Kansas is not the hardest track on tyres, but sometimes later in the race, a fresh set of tyres can really give you a boost. So changing those tyres is crucial. Some action going on behind as Shay Mello and those guys behind are really battling it out. There's a lot of action going on just behind at the moment as they are really racing for position down behind Adam Malone at the moment. And you can see them really running around, getting themselves into some different spots at the start of this race.
Yeah, just looking at this battle for third place between Luke Crum, Darren McKenzie and Jai Schultz. Jai's gone out and changed his paint livery again on me. It was 3 wide there for a half a lap, and now it's battling back between Darren and Luke Crum.
A man that needs some luck tonight, Darren McKenzie. He's had a shocker of a year so far, and he's had some really good results snatched away from him from no fault of his own, from just some internet failures and some weird mechanical issues or weird weird issues on his rig and things like that. So hopefully DMAC can get a good run here tonight in the Southern Stars car. He's keeping himself up there just ahead of Jai Schultz at the moment, just behind Luke Crum. So they are going to be battling it out.
Luca is definitely on a hurry up tonight. He's definitely pushing it. But Darren's taken that low line and he's gone through to the lead.
Aaron Dillon has gone up into the wall with Luke Crum, I think that was. Big contact, but they keep it going in the right direction. They're both moving forwards, but that could have been a big nasty accident again. They just keep it forward, so.
We've got 3 wide here at the moment for second place between Jai Schultz, Gary Wellman and Aidan Schultz. And right on hot on their tail is Adam Malone. And Raymond Jagger sitting back there saying, "That's it, boys. You race your heart out and I'll pick up the crumbs."
Absolutely. I'll see what I can do. Speaking of crumbs, Luke Crum, he got up heavily into the wall after Aaron Dillon caught him on the side, but that car's looking like it's still got some pace in there, just a bit of damage down the right-hand side. He's racing with Shane Mello at the moment. They are racing hard with each other. Andy Barber coming up the field as well, missing most of the aero on that car, so that thing will be an absolute rocket ship down the straights, not having a big rear wing to slow it down.
Bit of a modified car there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if it's street legal. Shane might have to put the odd lights on and pull him over. Just make sure you can fit a Coke can underneath that thing. It's looking a little bit low to me.
That would be an absolute pig to be driving around these other cars with no aero on it.
Absolutely. You get a lot of aero washing when you haven't got anything to stick the car to the ground and you're relying on mechanical grip with these things. Well, you tend to be just holding on for dear life. They're designed around having aero grip. Mechanical grip is a secondary thing, and when you don't have any wings to stick it to the ground, it gets very, very sketchy very, very quickly. So good job keeping it pointing in the right direction at the moment. We're seeing the race up here between Aidan Schultz, Adam Malone, Raymond Yeager and Gary Wellman. Joseph Grenshaw just dropping down a lap there on the high, but they are really racing hard and they're taking a multiple of different lines tonight as well.
Yeah, there's definitely 3 lanes out there tonight. And they're all working, so it's a little bit of a strange one. Because normally you get that low line in first, and especially with the Cup cars, that bottom line comes in, and then the track slowly works its way up. But for some reason tonight, it's come out and it's already got 3 lanes there.
That's the beauty of having a big old rear wing on the thing and a front splitter. It just sucks the car to the ground and means you can run a multitude of different lanes, and it gives you some different opportunities. As we see Kobe Jordan there battling it out as well. He's working his way forward. He's just got up in front of Jai Schultz, trying to chase down Gary Wellman at the moment, as they're starting to settle in. 18 laps of 134 here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries.
Just still watching down the back here, Carl, and that battle for the 13th and Cove was heated up, but they've decided to settle down and start to be gentleman-like races again. Andy Barber got a big aero wash and nearly come down into Luke Crum half a lap ago, but all's good and they race on.
Change for the lead up front. It's Aidan Schultz in the Golden Octopus car making his way to the front, shining bright there for the Golden Octopus Foundation, of course, helping kids fight against the horrible thing that is childhood cancer and keep helping the families with the support for that battle as well. Very, very easy and distinctive car to spot. As you can see, Darren McKenzie's got Adam Malone up there for support now as well. The Southern Stars team, they are looking good tonight with 2 cars up the front of the field, and both those cars are looking fairly healthy as well. So they've got 2 bullets in the chamber at the moment. You see Craig Roffey on their tail too. Craig is 9 laps down after that early hit, so he has got a lot of work to do tonight. Wouldn't say it's over. We have seen people come back from multiple laps and take a victory. So you can never count it out. You can never say never. But it's going to be a hard night's work for Craig Roffey tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. Derek Jacobs is still out there running at the moment, and he's 2 laps down. Peter Madison is showing
2 laps down.
2 laps down. Sorry, I'll just wait for the refresh. Technology.
Oh, it's great when it works. And Ash Nazir is the 1 lap down. So if we get a lucky dog candidate, he will be sitting in contention for that. Joseph Brenshaw, he is the last car on the lead lap at the moment and trying to get that car up into a good position in the 0.64. Meanwhile, up the front, the racing's starting to heat up. Darren McKenzie out on the line. Raymond Jaeger, of course, reigning champion for this season. He is hoping to defend and get another title win this time out, but he has got a lot of competition around him and a lot of hungry drivers up there wanting to get there. And well, one of his main rivals, his teammate, is still in pit lane getting some heavy repairs done. Justin Whitcher, of course, he's very much out. Troy Davidson as well, another one of those title contenders. He is in a very bad position too, being taken out early doors. And as we said, Craig Roffey, 9 laps down, he is in an unenviable position. He just needs to collect the points tonight and go into protection mode for the series standings.
Yeah, and Greg Spencer, Raymond Jaeger's other teammate, he's down in 11th. He got held back there with giving his teammate Justin a push back into the pit lane.
Doing the team play a bit, and I think unfortunately that caused a couple of black flags for people as they didn't quite know where he was on track, and the communications were a little bit foggy as everybody was wondering what happened in that first incident. Unfortunately, it caught a couple of people out with some black flags. Hopefully they can get their race back on track in the latter stages. As we're seeing, Aidan Schultz just gets close to the wall. Don't know if he scratched it. He had a bit of a moment up there, and that's just telling me that high line's getting a little bit perilous. Had a bit of a moment there, and that's caused a check up behind him. Let the leaders get a little bit of breathing room up the front. Darren McKenzie looking to go underneath Raymond Jaeger now, seeing what he can do in this battle as they catch up to Kate Donnelly. And one of those Boys cars that is going to go 3 laps down. He is in damage repair mode tonight, just trying to get those team championship points, I imagine. He is one of the drivers on the fabled Boys spreadsheet, but it is not working out for him as it stands. Just keep himself right up on the high line, out of people's ways, as we race on here at Kansas Speedway.
And just noticed too, Carl, Kobe Jordan's been able to make his way up in 6th place, and he's now got linked up with his teammate Jai Schultz right behind him. So look out for that team.
Absolutely, and what we've seen inside lane, they are sitting 3rd, I think, in the team standings at the moment, and they would dearly love to get some good points on the board for tonight and get themselves a nice position in the teams championship. They've not got anybody for the drivers championship, but if they can snag a teams championship, they would be absolutely delighted with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a little bit different like the real V8s where you win the teams championship and you get that first garage, but nevertheless it would be a great way to end a season for them with the teams championship.
Yeah, there's also a big thing of bragging rights, and that's what anybody does motorsport for, is that extra little bit of bragging rights, just to go, yep, we are the best team. If you can get that one secured, you are laughing. It's always a nice thing to lord over those other teams, but still a long way to go. And at the moment, Southern Stars are looking good because they are leading the race with Darren McKenzie, DMAC up in the 0-2. Southern Stars car up at the front of this pack as Jaeger's looking to make a move. And Adam Malone just sitting back there as well. The 2 Southern Star cars right up at the front of this pack at the moment. Aidan Schultz down there in 4th with Gary Wellman in 5th. So the Sim Boys are still lurking around, and I've cut one Sim Boy's head off and 2 more grow back in its place. The RKJ Web Services car there, of course, season sponsor, series sponsor as well. If you need to get some web service solutions sorted out, RKJ Web Services is your place to go. And a fantastic chap that runs that as well in Mr. Ray Yeager. So some very good support there for the series, and getting some good airtime as well tonight, being up at the front of the pack. Is the reigning champion, but he is having to defend quite a bit because Mackenzie and Malone keep getting some really good runs. Aiden Schultz getting himself back up there in 4th now, sitting right on their tail. And then there's a little bit of a gap to Gary Wellman, Kobe Jordan, Jai Schultz, Chris Finlay, Shay Mello, and Aaron Dillon. A little bit spread out sort of towards the back of the field. It's spread out as it does get in the Australasian Supercar eSeries, I should say. You know, it's not covered by 0.1 of a second for 20 cars. There's at least a 2-second gap between 12th and 1st.
And those 3 cars are the two Southern Stars, and Aiden Schultz has been able to just pull a little gap, only the ever so slight gap, but Raymond's decided to drop back behind these 3 and join the tail now as he closes up on Aiden.
Yeah, he could just dropping back there. Of course, sitting behind a car is never a bad thing for fuel saving. It can just give you a little bit less fuel use because you're not having to create a big hole in the air with that big rear wing, like getting all draggy and things like that. So just use a little bit less fuel and you can go a little bit longer in your stint. A driver that is going to be a little bit more critical on fuel is Darren McKenzie. He didn't come down pit lane during that first caution, so he's running on the opening tank. So he's done 34 laps on this stint so far. I think we were expecting about 40 odd laps on the stint from memory, of course. So we'll see how long they can go in their stints on fuel tonight. That's the other big part of racing on ovals, is all of the strategy of getting in pit lane, getting yourself back out in a pack, and getting yourself working well up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, definitely, and we can see Aiden there moving back down onto the low line, trying to have a run at the lead. Probably if Darren, probably wouldn't be a bad idea if he lets Aiden in front, but he slots up in the 2nd place and splits those teammates up. Just going to say, it wouldn't be a bad idea for Darren to let him have a run out front and try and save just maybe a lap or half a lap of fuel. Because it all will come into account.
Yeah, every little bit helps, you know, and just giving you a little bit more option on the strategy. It's never necessarily a bad thing, as Aiden looks to try and jump up into the high line. Not room there. Darren McKenzie was just there for him at the moment, so not enough room to squeeze himself in front that time round, but now there's a little bit more gap. The high line's going to get a better run off the corner. Aiden's going to try and jump himself up. You're going to see Darren McKenzie get a huge run here as he gets in behind, gives Aiden a little tap there just to say, look, didn't appreciate you coming up that last time round. I had to just dab the brake. But they keep it pointing on the racetrack. Just a little bit of a nudge there just to say, look, respect who you're racing against.
Yeah, definitely. And now we see him swap lanes, and Darren's on the low line.
Darren tried to get up in front of Aiden Schultz there. There wasn't enough room again. They just don't have enough of a launch to get themselves in front of the car when they're doing that little run. So again, just a little bit of a tweak. Side drafting going on as well, and that just slows the cars down a little bit as the air gets distorted all around them. But now Darren McKenzie's going to leap himself up in front and get himself back in the lead. And I think Darren might have a little bit less fuel, but he's sitting pretty happy up there, and he seems to be wanting to lead from the front at the moment.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing, because he can decide on when he's going to decide and when he's going to pit and have to be running the pit lane without having to worry about anyone propping in front of him. But again, we can see right back up under that big wing.
The Fords pushing along there at the moment. The 2 Mustangs galloping away up the front of the field. And racing very hard with each other. Very close stuff as well. They are so close to each other. As we see on oval racing, though, you've got to be comfortable running almost directly next to the car or right behind the car in front of you. Not touching necessarily, but just, millimeters away from them. And that's a skill that takes a lot of getting used to, especially for drivers coming in fresh to oval racing series. It takes them a long time to get used to running so close to each other.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just turning left on oval racing. The people can't believe that you use the brake and different things, but there is sometimes the brake being used mid-corner just to drag that left-hand side down and get into the turn.
One of the beauties about these cars, of course, is you do have the brake lights on them, and you can sort of see when they do. Nobody's really running a brake light scene tonight too much. They've been pretty much just easing off the throttle a little bit, just letting it breathe, and a couple of dabs of the brake now and then through the pack, but they're pretty much running just with letting the air slow them down effectively. And one of the things in these cars, of course, because they have such big aero packages, they slow down so quickly just by lifting off the gas and letting that 650 plus horsepower breathe for a couple of seconds, and it slows you down quite effectively.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see, as you said, Carl, anyone using the brake a great deal, except for maybe once the tyres get old and towards the end of their life, you may see some guys just dragging that brake ever so slightly.
Of course, one of the big times for the brakes is going to be pit lane, and that's the one to watch out for when you're coming in for those pit stops. There's contact by Malone on Aidan Schultz there, and that brings the caution flag out. Big moment there between Malone and Aidan Schultz.
I could kind of sense that sort of coming, that one, unfortunately.
Yeah,
they weren't playing nice with each other, the three of them. They definitely are, between Darren and Aidan, they wanted that front run spot.
Yeah, it was just a little bit, they're crowding each other, weren't they?
They were, and sort of just going back to have a little look at it, and it's a bit close, it's a bit 50-50 between the two of them, but it does look like Malone might have just slightly gone down a little bit towards Aidan as he's gone up a tiny bit, and it's just on that rear point, and that is where you're going to have a big accident. And, well, everybody behind did a great job of avoiding that one, because that could have been the monster wreck there again. Aidan Schultz takes a heavy hit into the wall. It's not over, though. That car is still circulating. It's got some damage. It'll have to get some repairs, but yeah, that's a heavy little wreck there. And this is the opportunity they all needed to come down pit lane to get some fuel in these cars to get them on the next stage of the race. Good news for Ash Nazir. He's going to get the lucky dog in at 6:30. He's going to get himself back on the lead lap. We've got a few cars back out on track as well. Justin Whitcher is back out there. Kim Roffey as well. So a few of those cars that took heavy damage early on have managed to get themselves back out on track. In pit lane, though, we are. Who is going to do what in this stop?
Just a reminder, too, for our spectators, Carl, that these guys do go up on the jacks, even if they're only taking fuel.
Absolutely. The air jacks jump them up as they're refueling, as they all finish off their stops. Everybody doing similar stationary times. A couple of people maybe just getting a quick repair done. About 29 seconds, 30 seconds between all of them. Kobe Jordan about 32 seconds. So Darren McKenzie was one of the big losers in that, you've got to say. He dropped down a lot of positions. He was stationary for about 33 seconds. So he's taken on a fair bit of fuel there, I'd say. He may have even changed his tyres. Of course, we don't have any of that crucial information available to us, unfortunately. But Darren McKenzie just taking a little bit more fuel on board, maybe going a little bit longer in this next stint. A few other people may just be going a little bit shorter. So, lap 46, and the caution flag flies here at Kansas for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, of course, brought to you by my Private Cellars. Gary Wellman back up into third at the moment for this restart. He's going to be starting on the low line. He's sitting in that position in the moment in the 45 Simboys entry. And he is going to be hoping he can get some good runs tonight for the United Electrical Solution Hot Toddy entered Simboys car. He's going to be trying his best to get himself up there and seeing what he can do for this race. Of course, he's had a dominant season so far, Mark, but that little holiday, it's, you know, you sometimes get a little bit rusty when you come back after a holiday.
Yeah, you go away, and it also opens the doors for guys to catch up with you. And yeah, you come back and a little bit out of sorts. I know it takes me a few weeks to get my eye and everything back in once I haven't been driving for a couple of weeks. So, but Gary will be out. Gary will be right. He'll stick it out there and get as many points as he can tonight.
Absolutely, and we'll see if he can get another victory next to his name, because well, every race so far this season he's been on the podium with wins and third places and a second place. He's had a fantastic season, but with the points reset, it's changed things up a little bit. We've got a few cars popping down the lane again just to get a little bit more fuel in the tank. Kobe Jordan, Andy Barber, Jai Schultz, and Ash Nazir, of course, coming in from his lucky dog position. So a few people just popping in just to get a little top up of fuel here, just for the next run of this race. And of course, well, we've got a couple of moments as well. A big thank you to all of the series sponsors: RKJ Web Services, My Private Cellars, United Electrical Solutions, Hot Toddy Heating Installations, Whitcher Electrix, of course, as well. Pace car lights are out, and that means we are going to go back to racing here at Kansas. Pace car peels in. It's going to be Adam Malone leading away into the restart zone. Right, Raymond Yeager up on his high side into the restart zone they go. Malone drops it right at the last minute, catches Yeager napping there. That was a huge leap for the bottom line there. Gary Wellman taking advantage of that. Yeager getting caught out there.
Yeah, Raymond just got caught snoozing a little bit there. Maybe he thought he was going to wait until the green flag.
Yeah, obviously had it set.
Oh, Aidan Schultz, big sideways movement.
He somehow saved that one. A little bit of a moment. The car stepped out on him, and he actually had a moment. He sort of went down. Kobe Jordan actually got very lucky with that one. We'll see here as he goes, he snaps sideways. Kobe Jordan's actually saved Aidan Schultz there because he's just tagged him just in the right direction. And, you know, that sort of saved Aidan's race there for sure. Kobe in the wrong place at the wrong time, but no major damage for that car. He was very lucky to get away with that one. Aidan is going to be just holding on for dear life at the moment, just going, oh, what the heck's happened there? What's going on with this car? It's going to take him a little bit of time just to get used to that and find out what's happening.
Yeah, well, the looks of that then, I was watching, and that right front of Aidan's is moving backwards and forwards, not just round and round.
So he did come in for some major repairs, but maybe something has gone on the car, because maybe it's just a little bit too much damage and it didn't get fully repaired. So might be it for the front suspension of that thing. Kobe Jordan there will be absolutely heart in his mouth situation. That was a scary, scary old moment.
And by the looks of it, Aidan has parked it for the night, mate.
Never fun when a race car is damaged and then things don't work as you expect them to. And well, we know with the way the damage system works in iRacing, it could have been just marginally being held together there, and that little bit of contact was enough to just break the suspension again on his car. And well, that is night done for the Golden Octopus entry. Up the front, it's Darren McKenzie back into the lead. He took no time at all to work his way back up to the front of this field. He was stationary for a bit longer, took on a little bit more fuel, and that could be because he was leading so much in the early stages. He needed to take a little bit more fuel on the rest of the cars, but he is happy up there in the lead.
Yeah, definitely wants to lead from the front. Well, lead this race. Although he's opening the door for Raymond around that high side. So we'll see what happens here. And Adam Malone will be wanting to try and probably get in behind Darren to give him a good push. And of course we've got one of those Sim Boys cars in fourth in Gary Willman.
Yeah, Gary's sitting there with Chris Finley right behind him as well, so teammates are with each other. Greg Spencer doing a good job of working his way up the field. He's up into 6th position now for the Pinnacle cars. So a couple of teams working their way forwards and getting themselves into position. Drivers are battling it out for the team's championship as well as the drivers' championship. The inside lane production cars, they've dropped down a bit because they came in pit lane again. So they came through the lane again just to get a little top up of fuel. So they're very much out of position at the moment. But if we get a long green period, they could be laughing. Darren McKenzie still up in front and very happy with leading this one for sure. Raymond Yeagers just sitting there and thinking, well, you know, I've got the bonus point. I can just sit here and be happy. I'll let you run the line you want, Darren, and I will just wait here for the remainder of these laps and just keep on racing on. Looking down the field a little bit, Nicholas Walsh trying to make a move on Shane Mello at the moment. As well, we've got a bit of a split from 6th down, really. They've started just spreading the field out a little bit. You can see from that picture there's not many cars up at the front of this field tonight. But after that early incident, it did really cull the field a little bit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when you get an incident like that early in the race, and it does knock some drivers out. And then these guys at the back here probably carrying a little bit of damage, and you just can't keep to the pace of those guys up front and able to keep most of their cars clean.
I wonder if a couple of them might be just going at set pace as well, just to save a little bit of fuel for the stint, because, well, we've only had the 2 cautions tonight, and with such a depleted field now, there's less chance of a caution flag happening. So maybe just running a little bit slower at this stage of the race, saving a little bit of fuel, could really help you out in the latter stages of this race. We've still got 76 laps remaining, remember.
Still a long way to go, and I guess too, if you can save that fuel and save those tyres a little bit, get you deeper into this stint on fuel and tyres.
Yeah, having a little bit of wiggle room in your stint and your pit strategy is always a good thing. No driver will ever be unhappy to have a little bit of wiggle room in there and be able to play around a little bit and not have to conserve and worry about fuel saving at the end. And well, we've seen a few people have some very close moments as we're just passing one of those people, Justin Whitcher. He's going down another lap here after he's come out for some major repairs. But last time out at Daytona, of course, he just crossed the line coughing and spluttering out of fuel. You know, that's how narrow the margins can be. He got that victory by the narrowest of margins, but if you time the fuel right and get it to the end just perfectly, you can get yourself a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at Peter Madison back in pit lane. Craig Roffey back in pit lane.
Pass for the lead there as Yeager's gone underneath Darren McKenzie and decided he wants to have a bit of a run up the front, get some clean air on that car. And yeah, it's been a night to forget for Craig Roffey, you've got to say. A very, very unfortunate night for him. And I think his engine may have gone on him. Because I'm just sort of going back and having a look at that car on its last lap sort of through. And it sort of sounded a little bit quiet when it was coming in pit lane, so maybe his engine has gone pop. But up the front, we got some good racing going on. It's Yeager versus McKenzie at the moment, and don't discount Adam Malone. He's right up there offering support. Gary Wellman as well. Never never say never to Gary Weldon this season, because he has been absolutely on fire. Almost every lap I look back at the front and they are swapping position, Mark.
Yeah, it's definitely backwards and forwards. And while they're doing that, it's allowing these guys behind them, Chris Finlay and Greg Spencer, to catch him. But then there is a big gap back to Nicholas Walsh and Justin Whitcher.
Yeah, there's some big gaps starting to happen on the track at the moment, and you know there's a bit of field spread tonight, and you know what I'm sort of keeping an eye on. Just a little bit further back, we sort of got secondary packs that sort of starting to form up, and a few drivers trying to work their way through and sort of see what they can do with a little bit of damaged equipment as well. But they're not out of it for sure. And I'm just wondering if we're seeing a few drivers just taking it a little bit easy in this stint, just to extend it, just so they can make a bit of a shorter final stint, have a little bit more fuel on board, and maybe save themselves an extra pit stop. So I think there's a couple of strategies being played out here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And look, these guys will be all in team channels too, talking to each other, and they'll be working out on what, and just talking. You know, how's your tyres and different things. So, but I'd say if one of these guys, at either Mackenzie or Jager, come down pit lane, we'll see all 5 of these cars or 6 of these cars in pit lane too.
Yeah, we are going to see a big glut of action, I'm sure, when they get there. So the front 6 are really pulling away from the rest of the field at the moment, and everybody else is very spread out. So this could be a really good opportunity for some of those drivers to make up a few positions tonight.
The leaders are just starting to catch Kay Donnelly, so he'll end up another lap down, unfortunately for Kay tonight.
Yeah, it's been a tough night for him. We saw him having a big moment, getting below, just catching the apron, and that really cost him a huge amount of time, and cost a lot of drivers in the race as well, because we saw a lot of damage out there from when that car hit the wall and took out a lot of the field. So just a tough night in the office, and Kate Donnelly's one of those drivers for the Sim Boys as well that's going to be part of the team's championship, so he's just trying to get the extra points where he can, and there's a few drivers just doing that damage limitation tonight, and they're going to see what they can come out with. Was just sort of looking back a little bit through the field, and as I said, there's a lot of spread at the moment. You've got sort of cars just very much out of position, and they're just really falling off the front runner's pace, and there's quite a few cars that don't really have much damage as well that have sort of fallen off this front pack, and I wonder if a lot of that was caused with the bad restart from Jaeger. We saw a big checkup in the sort of back of the pack, and I think that caught a few drivers out and let the leaders break away from the rest of them.
It tends to happen. Yeah, we've seen that restart, and Raymond just totally missed that jump by Mackenzie, and it would definitely not have helped the guys behind him in that outside row.
Maybe started in the wrong gear there, and it just is such an easy mistake to make as well, Mark. I'm sure you've done it as well as myself, but you know, starting in the wrong gear is such a frustrating thing to do, and you sort of put your foot down ready to get that restart done, and then all of a sudden you're just like, wait, what's happening? Why isn't my car moving?
No, I can honestly say I haven't done a Mark Skate, but I have gone the other way. Instead of going up gears, I have gone down a gear.
See, that's often much worse because that can cause the engine to go poppity pop. Seeing Shane Mello getting caught up too as well. He's one of those drivers that's just dropped off the pace, and I wonder if Shay's had to make a jaunt down pit lane for a penalty or something because he's completely dropped off, completely fallen off the pace. Well, he's actually coming down pit lane, so Shane Mello made a stop about 4 laps ago. So I was just trying to figure out what happened to Shay because he was sitting up there with that lead group earlier on. So he's made his stop now. He's decided he sort of made a very late call to come down pit lane and make a quick stop. And it was only about 5 or so. He was only stationary for a very short time as well. About 17 seconds. So he's just come down to chuck a little bit of fuel in that car. So interesting little strategy call there. Andy Barber in the lane as well. He's coming in for a stop, and I wonder if this is possibly because the car has just decided to give up the ghost, or if he's coming in for some fuel.
Car doesn't seem to be running, does it?
No, it looks like he took a lot of damage, Andy Barber, and I think maybe that car has decided it's had enough tonight, and it's just decided to leave the circuit early, unfortunately. But I'm intrigued by Shane Mello there. It's just an interesting strange little call there to come down the lane.
Yeah, it has to be some kind of strategy, doesn't it? Something with fuel or tyres, and 16-second stop there. 17-second stop. That's just maybe just a splash of fuel, really, for these cars.
Yeah, so I wonder if he's just chucked a little bit of fuel in there, got himself out in clean air, and just trying something different and trying to counter strategy here. He's down a lap at the moment, so he doesn't want to drop another lap right here. So keeping ahead of this front pack is going to be crucial, but just a strange little stop, that one. I'm trying to figure out sort of why.
Yeah, I don't see any reasoning behind it, unless he feels he can run strongly by himself. But I mean to say, as you said, Carl, he's in danger of going another lap down here.
He could be doing that little bridge the gap strategy that we've seen in the last sort of few weeks, where he could be he's done a splash just to get him to like about lap 90 or so, and then he can put his second set of tyres on and get enough fuel to go to the end, maybe.
Yeah, it must be a little strategy in that way, just to sort of get the pain out early and over with, and just hoping that there's no caution. So trying something very different out there for Shea Mello in the 812. And, well, if we get the old siren on, that might give him an extra couple of miles per hour down the straight, Get a few people to move out the way early as well. But you can see just how close the leaders are to him. They're right behind him as he's sitting behind
Andy Barber.
Andy Barber, who's back out on track. Yeah. So I think Andy Barber just had to come in for some major repairs. Maybe the car was overheating, and he's just come in for a bit of a major repair just to get it back out and get it finished tonight, because he was stationary for a good long time, about 1 minute and 37 seconds. So yeah, interesting. Meanwhile, we've got some movements going on. Adam Lyne's coming down pit lane. So okay, so yeah, maybe it was just a call from Shea Mello just to come in for an early stop. So we've now got pit stops starting to happen as Adam Malone has decided to pull it into pit lane, seeing what he can do. Darren McKenzie and Gary Wellman are both battling each other up the front at the moment for second place. So it's starting to, I think we're starting to see a few different strategies at play.
Yeah, some strange ones too, and like you wouldn't think about coming down this early. I would have tried to get to at least lap 85, 90.
Do we know how many laps we're getting on a tank of gas? Because it might be right on it. Might be 54, 55 laps.
Yeah, I was hoping we would find out with a nice long green stint before, because we're sort of thinking about 35, 40 odd laps of fuel, I think, sort of pre-race. I think that sort of the usual go around for this style of track. But yeah, we'll see how this one unfolds. As Raymond Jaeger's looking to go 3 wide. Just has to lift out a little bit there between the two cars that are lapped down, but they are racing at the moment, trying to keep themselves in the race as the leader's coming up on them. And well, we've seen a couple of times this season lapped cars getting involved with the leader.
Yeah, I can understand a little bit why Shay's so desperate here to stay. Of course, he's in the police car. At the moment he's only 1 lap down. So if there is another caution, he gets the lucky dog, and he's back on the lead lap. So I can sort of understand why he's desperately trying to stay there. But yeah, it's a little bit awkward having both lanes with the minute. Ram is going to try and go for the middle now. He's going to clear Barber.
Barber's sort of sitting up on the high side, not really getting in anybody, trying to keep out of the way there effectively, but with the car on the low side, it just meant there was no real, it made it a little bit harder to make it work. So yeah, so they are racing pretty hard out there. And look, with that pit strategy, as long as it sort of pays off, could find himself back on the lead lap once the rest of these guys make a pit stop. So yeah, we'll see how this one plays out. I'd be interested to see what people do. So I've got Kim Roffey. He's done about a 50-lap stint, and he's coming down pit lane. So that sort of says to me about 50 laps is probably the fuel range. So he's managed to do 50 laps, so that's some good information for us. And a couple of those laps are under pace car conditions as well. So probably the sort of latter end of the high 40s for the fuel tank. So we've got 49 laps remaining here tonight at Kansas for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by Private Cellars. You see the man with the most wins so far this year, Mr. Gary Wellman, in this season. He's sitting back there in third at the moment, seeing what he can do. Luke Crum, Aaron Dillon, both coming down pit lane as well. 39 laps, 40 laps into this stint, so they've decided it's time to get some fuel on board for themselves. Both of those cars have a little bit of damage, unfortunately, so they are not completely as aerodynamically efficient as some of the others.
Yeah, there's not a lot of damage on the front and rear. It's more down the sides. So, although the bonnet is creased a little bit on Crum's car, so that would have a adverse effect too. With the air getting in under the bonnet there, a little bit of a tiny parachute for him.
Yeah, it's just a small one. It's that little parachute that comes out first, just a little one, just to make sure everything's working and slowing you down enough. But it is going to slow you down nonetheless. See, Andy Barber there, he's just got in behind Jaeger right here, and he's sort of chugging along at a good rate of knots. But this is good news. If he can get himself back out with his teammates, he will be in a good position to help them out and keep in front of them as well. So he might be a couple of laps down in this race, but he can absolutely help his teammates around him, the other Southern Stars cars, in tonight's race. So we'll see how that one unfolds as the pit stops start to happen. Jaeger's sort of got himself a sort of about a half-second lead at the moment ahead of Gary Wellman. So he's sort of sitting up there, and Darren McKenzie's dropped off about 3 seconds. So there's a bit of a gap now between the front runners and Darren McKenzie, and just get the feeling that Darren McKenzie's just doing a bit of fuel saving right here and just not pushing as hard as some of the others, just trying to go a little bit longer. Christopher Finlay in pit lane now. So yeah, I get the feeling they're starting to run a little bit low on fuel, and they're starting to see those cars needing to make a stop right here.
Yeah, I just wonder how many of them are trying to work out in their heads what lap they have to get home.
Well, they should be able to make it home from here. So we've got 44 laps remaining. They made it 45 laps into this stint. And well, you know, the start of it was helped by a caution, of course. So you probably want to go an extra 2 laps just to make it safely home. But this is really the crossover for coming down pit lane and making it home. Darren McKenzie's pulling it in now, so McKenzie's needing to come down the lane now. So he's made it 46 laps into this stint. And Jaeger's pulling it into the lane as well, coming in from the lead. And that will mean that Gary Wellman will take over that position and get himself a bonus point to go with it. As we see that car pulling in the lane. And, well, we'll see how this one unfolds for everybody now.
Quick, throw the checkers now.
I'm sure Gary would appreciate that. But does he need that extra help, Mark? That's the question.
Probably not. If he can come back and get a good result tonight, you definitely have to say he's got his eyes straight back into it, and we'll close that championship up again.
He's going a bit longer in this stint as well. He's managing to go an extra lap or 2 here, and that's also, you know, that means a little bit less time in pit lane as well, because you don't have to take as much fuel on board. You sort of, you're stationary for a little bit less time. That can help you out an enormous amount too. So Gary is going to be pulling it in now. So 48 laps in this stint, and he pulls it into pit lane, and Greg Spencer will take over the lead.
And he'll get a bonus point.
Absolutely, those crucial bonus points. And as it's starting to circle its way out, Adam Malone has managed to jump Mr. Raymond Jaeger. So that early stop for Malone has paid off for him. And well, the question is, can he make it home from his early stop? That's going to be the thing for Adam Malone, because he came in quite a bit earlier. So he's got to make 54 laps on this tank, and well, we've not seen anybody do that yet. So it's not looking good for Malone if he needs to stay out there, and he may need a caution to get this one back into his race. Shane Mallow has managed to work his way up just into P5, but again, he'll have to come down the lane again.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably what Malone's hoping for, is a caution, and save that fuel, or duck in and just throw in a splash, and that will see him home.
Yeah, so a few different strategies at play here, and just keeping an eye out just in case anybody does a longer stint. The longest stint we've seen so far was about 50 laps. So yeah, it's going to be very hard to make up 6 laps of fuel for Adam Malone.
Well, Spencer's in the lane now, so he's done 50 laps.
Yep. Yeah, that sort of doesn't look good for Adam Malone at the moment, but we have been proven wrong many times up here in the commentary booth. So it's Adam Malone in the lead for Southern Stars. He's got a 4-second lead over Raymond Jaeger. Gary Wellman's come out right on the back of Jaeger as well, so his stop was very well timed. Gary Wellman, he was just a bit quicker down the lane, and that gave him a little bit of time to close right up onto his rival there. Darren McKenzie, he is about 2 seconds back from this battle, with Shane Mello in his heels. Chris Finlay sits in 6th position. He's about 13 seconds off the leader at the moment. He's got Jai Schultz for company back there, and they're racing with each other at the moment, sort of working with each other as well a little bit there. They've got a couple of injured cars up on the side of Kim Rothie and Justin Whitcher, who are just trying to get themselves some points for tonight, just a bit of recovery drive for themselves. Greg Spencer back in 8th position. He's got Nicholas Walsh for company. A little bit further behind him. And Kobe Jordan rounds out our top 10 at the moment, with Luke Crum, his teammate, just in P11. So it's sort of some interesting calls strategy-wise, and it's not really paid off for some people. It has paid off for some others. So I think we'll have to see how the race unfolds once we get closer to the end. But up the front of the field, battle for P2 is very much on at the moment between Wellman and Jaeger. "35 laps to go. We're on lap 99 here at Kansas Super Speedway. Shane Mello pulls it into the lane again, so he needed to come in for some more fuel. Darren McKenzie back into the lane as well.
Yeah, sorry, Carl. I was just trying to see who it was. And a big drift from the 064 car, Joseph Grimshaw, through turns 3 and 4. He had that thing hanging all out.
I don't know if you can get the replay map from Darren McKenzie, but he looks like he had some connectivity issues and possibly a issue with the rig, because he's just gone straight up into the wall, just coming across the tri-oval, bang, and that's why he's in the lane again. It just looks, he had a couple of blinks and then all of a sudden he just went straight up into the wall. So an odd one there for Darren McKenzie, and obviously the Gremlins are back at it again for him. He has really not had the best luck this season.
It's a pretty big lick, that one.
Big shame there for D-Mac. He is really, if he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all at the moment. He is really not having a fantastic 2023 season in these cars, and just seems to be, any weird bad luck that is out there just tends to jump onto his car at the moment. After a strong showing tonight, but obviously some kind of mechanical gremlin for his rig or his computer there just took him out of the race.
Looks like Shane Mello's also parked the car for the night too.
Okay.
I think there's a few guys having some issues. Like I'm only watching the race and I'm getting some big blinks myself. So maybe there's a little gremlin running around in the internet world.
Right, never fun, and well, it is there was an update very recently, and we do know sometimes that can cause a couple of gremlins to appear out of nowhere, and that has been usually after an update. There tends to be a couple of little glitches here and there, and sometimes computer drivers and even your sim racing drivers as well, like the actual patches for your steering wheels and your pedals and things like that aren't quite up to date, and that can cause issues. So hopefully that can all get fixed up for those people out there that have had those issues.
Yeah, they normally find it fairly quick, because there's a lot of people get on there and start letting them know that there's an issue. So they do tend to get on top of it again very quickly and resolve it.
Yeah, it is one good thing. We can see the race for for second place is very much on, and we've got to say the race for the lead as well, because I don't think Adam Ryan can make it to the end on fuel, unfortunately. I'd love to be proven wrong, Adam. If you're listening, prove me wrong. But he's seen what he can do. He's got Christopher Tomlin out there. Christopher Tomlin 57 laps down, just getting back out there just to get some laps under his belt, and he's coming down the lane now to get his fuel for the night, to get to the end of the race, but just getting some crucial experience on track and trying to get a few extra points for that team as well. So always a crucial little thing in the race as well for those team championships. As I said, it is a big part of it. Meanwhile, we've not really been looking too much down the field, but up in fourth position, Jai Schultz has snuck his way up there. Very quiet move from Jai Schultz. He is coming up nicely. He's just in front of Greg Spencer and Chris Finlay. So this race is very much on for this position. All these three cars are separated by nothing at all. This race is very much on at the moment for what could become third place in this race. And Jai Schultz leading that charge and seeing what he can do in this race. And with those pit stops in a couple of moments, it's helped Joseph Grenshaw come up into P10. A very quiet night for Joseph Grimshaw, just keeping that car out of trouble. The 064 has been kept out of trouble tonight, and it's managed to net him up into 10th place at the moment. So good showing from him.
Yeah, it's definitely misfortune for some others is a good fortune for others. So some of these guys will be able to make some good points tonight.
You never want to gain positions by others' misfortune, but you're never too upset when you get them. So it's it is the way of racing. But you can see here that there's a little bit of sort of traffic as well as they're coming through the field there for Jaeger and Wellman. They're coming up on Luke Crum at the moment, and he's racing to try and keep on the lead lap and trying to keep himself in a good position so he can get the lucky dog if it happens as well. And so the 30 inside lane car is keeping himself up in the mix with these two cars as well. And they're closing on the leader as well. They are closing on Adam Malone too. So, last time round, they were a good 2 tenths faster than Malone, who I think might be in a little bit of fuel conservation mode. But as I said, I just don't think he can do it to get to the end.
Yeah, and that last lap there, Carl, as you were talking, that's now only 100th of a second quicker. So Adam is flowing, and wouldn't be surprised in the next 4 or 5 laps we see these guys behind him right up on his tail.
23 laps to go. We are getting down towards the close of tonight's race. We've got 111 here for the Private Cellar's Australasian Supercar eSeries, and we see Gary Wellman making the move up into second, and now Jaeger is coming right back at him.
The gap now is down to a second. It was a 2-second gap between Malone and Jaeger. That is now down to a second.
Yeah, and as these two are racing each other, that's only good news for Malone. He won't be too disheartened about that. And Annie Barber's just sitting there, just putting the pressure on these two, just trying to sort of distract them a little bit, trying to slow them down a little bit to help Adam Malone. And as they're battling, the sort of gap is starting to grow a little bit as well. Just gone up to 2 seconds again, because these two are racing side by side at the moment and just slowing each other down in this race, which is helping Adam Malone extend his lead.
Yeah, whenever you can look in, sorry Matt, I was just going to say, whenever you can look in the mirror and see the guys behind you battling, that's always a nice easy sigh of relief for you.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Adam Malone be loving this. He'd be encouraging them to keep battling each other for second and just let him keep his gap out the front.
You can almost hear from Andy Barber's car just going, yeah, fight guys, fight. Gary, Raymond said that your car looks crap. You should really fight him harder. Raymond, Gary said you can't drive. That's what he's doing back there, just trying to egg the two drivers on, causing them, trying to get them to fight harder. And you can see he's just trying to distract a little bit, just trying to really get them racing with each other to help Adam get his gap up.
Yeah, he needs to pick one of them to draft and then change and help the other one, and so help them both stay side by side fighting each other, and that'll help his teammate out.
He's doing it at the moment because the gap is back to 2 seconds and it's sort of sat there for a while. So it's working. It is working at the moment. As the old team game is in play there, and you fight out with each other. But eventually the penny will drop between those two drivers, and they'll go, oh, wait, we should just drive one in front of the other and get ourselves up to the front and maybe battle for the lead of the race, and not let Adam have it all for his own good. Last time round, though, Adam was about 2 tenths faster than those two as well, so he started putting his foot down, getting the pedal down as well. Maybe he's feeling a little bit more confident on fuel, or he might be just getting ready to duck into pit lane just to get that little splash of gas in the tank.
Yeah, he's opening up the gap.
Yeah, as I said, I think it's about 6 laps of fuel he needed to make up from what we were looking at for about 50 lap stints. So it's still not looking ideal, but you know, a late caution could easily get him to the end without any problems, or he could pull a rabbit out of his hat and show that he is the king of fuel saving. And maybe we'll have to pat down his car and just check he hasn't got any extra length fuel hoses in his pocket.
Well, he's really dropping the hammer now. He's picked up half a second in a lap, just over a lap or two. So either he's going faster or the two behind him are going slower.
Yeah, well, we do know, well, could be the thing of a lighter car there as well being effective. He's got about 15 laps less fuel in the tank than those drivers behind him, and he is absolutely gunning for it at the moment in that Southern Stars car. The green Southern Stars entering number 3 of Adam Malone up in the lead at the moment. And they are racing very hard with each other. So, yeah, lots of action on track at the moment. A little bit further back, Jai Schultz is still keeping himself up in 3rd position as he's fighting it out with Chris Finley and Greg Spencer. So there's plenty of battles going on the track at the moment.
Again, it's the standard thing we've come to expect here with the supercars. Battles right throughout the field and right throughout the race.
Yeah, it is the thing that we love to see, the action on track, and well, plenty of action at the moment. Chris Finley and Greg Spencer really racing it hard as well. Down in the pack, they are side by side with each other. Every time I glance at my timing screen, they are swapping positions at the moment. Greg Spencer up 15 positions in this race. Chris Finley, he started 5th, he's sitting 5th, and then he's sitting 6th, and then 5th, and then 6th again. And while these guys are fighting it out, he's giving Jai Schultz the opportunity just to ease away a little bit. And he's also got a little bit of aid in Christopher Tomlin just sitting on his tail, helping him out. So we are seeing Andy Barber pull it into pit lane. He has done all he can to try and egg on those leaders to fight. But he needs to come down pit lane to get some fuel in his tank. And well, that doesn't bode well for Adam Malone. I think we're going to see him pulling it into the lane to get some fuel in his tank in the next couple of laps. As we see there, Justin Whitcher, the Whitcher Electrix car, of course. Big thank you to the series sponsor, Whitcher Electrix there. Just getting out the way as he's just trying to get in position for trying to get some points as Adam Malone pulls it into the lane and comes in for that splash and dash. 43 laps into this stint. It's going to be close, I think, for a couple of these drivers out there, but they should be able to make it to the end. The driver is going to be closest for, I think, is probably Raymond Yeager, as he was one of the earlier pit stops. So, battle for the lead now between Yeager and Wellman. The fight is on. Jai Schultz moves himself up into a podium spot, up into 3rd, as he continues his march along. With Chris Finley, Greg Spencer following close behind him. Where does Adam Malone get back out on track? Looks like he's dropped down to 10th position, unfortunately. And yeah, that sort of early stop did kill him. Unfortunately, the caution didn't come out when he needed it to.
No, he would have been looking for a caution within those last 5 laps to really bring this race back to him.
Very much so. And might want to just jump back to the Greg Spencer, Chris Finlay sort of battle, because those two have been side by side for so long, and they're right on the tail of Jai Schultz as well and Christopher Tomlin. That fight is really getting some heat in it, and there's a lot of action going on back there. There's contact and there's a wreck! There is a wreck with Jai Schultz and Craig Rothie. We have got the caution flag out. The wreck has happened. Greg Spencer caught in that one as well as Chris Finlay. Big hit there. And could just tell that there was something about to happen in that group that was just starting to get a little bit too tight. Huge wreck there, as looked like Craig Roffey's just drifted up a little bit and just got into Jai Schultz, and that's wiped out that big group of cars there, and that's a big moment. And that caution just came out a little bit too late for Adam Malone, unfortunately.
May have come out a little bit too late for him, but depending on how much damage these guys have done, it will play up for him and move him back up the field.
Yeah, he was. I think, unfortunately, though, he dropped down a lap, so he won't get that lucky dog position. I think Kobe Jordan, he'll get his lap back, and Luke Crum, I think, will get the lucky dog position. So, yeah, that was a big accident, and Greg Spencer took a lot of damage. Chris Finlay, he's looking somewhat alive. Jai Schultz got away relatively unscathed. Quite a bit of damage down the right-hand side of that car as he got squeezed up. And, yeah. Big accident there. And that has really shaken things up here for the end. 7 laps remaining. And, well, it's going to be a big sprint to the end now.
I would think we would see possibly 2 cars that are 1 lap down do the wave around. Adam Malone being one of those as well. Although, no, it's not going to work, is it? Because the leaders aren't going to pit.
Yep. That's what I meant. It's just come out a bit too late for Adam Malone. It really hasn't paid off for him. Andy Barber, I think he got caught in that one as well. Unfortunately, again, not been a lucky night for him. Luke Crum, it worked out perfectly for, because he needed to come down the lane. He was having to come down the lane to make a green flag stop. He's managing to make this stop under caution. So the number 30 of Luke Crum, he's not had the luckiest night tonight. He got caught up in a bit of a squeeze, had some damage to the right-hand side of the car, but that caution came out just at the right time for him. So he's at least going to be able to get his stop done and be on the lead lap. So we are going to be going back to racing here, and well, Gary Wellman is going to be leading us away once they get back to racing speeds. And well, drama has unfolded, and well, what do we often see cautions breeding, Mark?
Another caution.
Yes, I do wonder if we might see this race end in the old green-white checker, as we might see another caution coming in rather quickly. So, late drama here. It's been a pretty clean race. There's been a couple of big accidents, but there's sort of been few and far between at the moment. But now it's going to close the dials up. Only 8 cars on the lead lap. So that's going to be a sort of big opportunity for these guys. Quite a few damaged cars in this group as well. As we see them trying to get some tyre temperature in there. You can see Greg Spencer, he's up behind Raymond Yeager at the moment, but he's got a lot of damage on the front end of that car. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see if the United Electrical Solutions Pinnacle eSport car has got some damage, unfortunately, and will be a little bit slow on the restart, but we'll see what he can do. Sim Boys have got Chris Finlay, Nicholas Walsh, and Gary Wellman in the group as well. So 3 of their cars on the lead lap up the front of the field. This could be useful for them. We'll see how this unfolds. Pace car pulled in. Gary Wellman's going to come up to the restart zone. When does he drop the loud pedal? He's waiting. He goes early. He drops the hammer, gets away well. Jai Schultz gets away nicely too, side by side with Raymond Yeager, who gets caught out again with the restart. Just just doesn't get away as clean as he'd want to. A little bit slow on the acceleration, and that's dropped him down into third position. Jai Schultz up behind Gary Wellman at the moment. Jaeger is wanting to get right back up there. A huge swarm of angry cars behind as well as we go back to green flag racing. 4 laps to go here at Kansas.
I think we may have a very, very close finish here tonight. You know, look at Jaeger up, trying to find that fast way around that tri-oval. He's back down against the grass, moves back up onto the track. He's got that nice inside line. But Gary just seems to have that centre lane working. Guys to the outside.
Chris Finlay.
Chris Finlay.
Yeah, one of the sim boys up there, and it's Chris Finlay. The yellow gold Finlay is up there, and he is going to get himself nice and close to teammate Gary Wellman here. Of course, Chris Finlay, he is going to be doing well as well. He wants to get a good result because he's in the chase for the championship too. He is in contention for that championship chances tonight as well. So he wants to get a good finish. So does Gary Wellman. This could be a good night for the sim boys. But Jaeger and Jai Schultz are going to try their best to stop that from happening. Jaeger up on the high side, Jai just behind him. They've pulled away a little bit. Kobe Jordan sitting there behind in 5th position, but he's sitting in a good spot to make a lunge. So Jaeger at the moment is the only car out there without any teammate support near him. So that's going to be something to play on his mind. Gary Wellman's got Chris Finlay on his rear, helping him a little bit. Those two teammates will be working with each other. Kobe Jordan, if he can close in and keep himself next to Jai Schultz, this could be really, really useful. As Jaeger tries to drop down, and he squeezes down to the inside, trying to get himself between the two sim boys, and he just does it. The white flag's going to fly. Final lap here at Kansas, and the race is on. Wellman on the inside, Jaeger on the high side, Finlay, Jai Schultz just behind him. Wellman getting a good launch through the corner onto the back straight. Jaeger should get a better run off the corner though. He's going to get the run down the back straight here, get himself up into the lead. A little bit of contact between the two cars. Tiny bit of contact as they go down the straight, and Wellman's going to get the run through the corner. He's going to have to get the launch of a lifetime and get himself across the line. It's going to be very close. Contact as they make contact, coming up to the line. Chris Finlay trying to break it up. Down the inside goes Wellman. Wellman takes the win. Again, it is Gary Wellman back in victory lane, milliseconds ahead of Raymond Jaeger and Chris Finlay.
Wow.
0.005 of a second covering the top 3 there.
That is unbelievable. Again, as we've seen right throughout this series, such close racing right down to the wire.
Really close stuff there, but it is this man back from vacations, having no rust at all. He's been to Vietnam, he's come back, and he has dominated. It is Gary Wellman back in victory lane tonight here at Kansas.
I'm just wondering if he went to a few temples while he was over there.
Does he need to? It's just been unstoppable this so far this season. Every race he's running so far this season, he has been on the podium, and most of them have been wins as well. Really, really good show. Gary Wellman's going to be delighted with that. Raymond Jaeger comes home in second. That's good news for championship title hopes for him. And Christopher Finlay makes the stamp on his championship charge as well. This is good news for his championship charge as well, as he fights out himself up there. He's going to be getting himself a nice haul of points tonight. Jai Schultz brings it home in 4th position tonight. Good finish for him. And Kobe Jordan, the inside lane production cars, coming home in 4th and 5th. Nicholas Walsh comes home in 6th with Greg Spencer 7th. Luke Crum, another of those inside lane production cars, in 8th position. He's going to be happy with that finish. Adam Malone salvages 9th, and Joseph Grenshaw brings it in 10th. A solid run from Grenshaw tonight, being the only Holden in the top 10. Andy Barber comes home in 11th with Derek Jacobs in 12th. Kerrod Donnelly in 13th. Ash Nazir 14th. 15th for Craig Roffey. 16th for Peter Madison. 17th for Kim Roffey. Shea Mello 19th. 19th even for Darren McKenzie. Aaron Dillon in 20th. Justin Whitcher comes home 21st with Troy Davison, Christopher Tomlin, Aidan Schultz, Mitch McIntyre, and Mick Rush. Well, Wellman has been coming back and won the race. It's been one heck of a season for Gary, hasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely has. He's been superior this season. Really, that's the only way you can describe that he's driving this season. He's just been dominant from the word get-go.
Yeah, he has been on fire, and yep, he is going to be absolutely chuffed with that one, I am sure. And well, same for Chris Finlay as well. He's got himself back up there too, and he is going to be so stoked with this one for the team as well. It's really good news for the Simboys cars and for his championship hopes as well in the 104 Simboys entry. So let us start with our third place man, and that is Mr. Christopher Finlay of Simboys, coming home third tonight here at Kansas. Chris, welcome back to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P3 here at Kansas.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Carl. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time since we've spoken to you. But it's not been a bad time. You've been solidly getting those points, getting yourself up there and getting yourself in contention. And well, tonight, while other of your contenders fell away, you had a very strong finish. Unfortunately, two of your other championship contenders are up there as well.
Yeah, can't really go wrong with the way Gary's driving at the moment, though, can you?
I know, trying to beat Gary is just like, yeah, it's not going to work, is it? He is just unstoppable.
What's he done? Podiumed in every race that he's been in. Basically, mostly won them all.
Yep. It's been what, 5 wins now? 5, 6 wins, yeah. And then a third and a second, he has been up there. But well, you know, it's had some good teammate support around him. And well, tonight you absolutely gave him that on that final run. Coming up to the flag there, it was going to be a short run to the end. What were you thinking?
I was thinking, don't push Ray. Don't push Ray across that line.
Yeah, that's the tricky bit, isn't it? You've got to really, really choose that line right, and you drop down at the last minute just to drop him off a little bit. Yeah,
definitely didn't want to be the one that pushed Ray over the line and made him beat a Simboy. That would have been a nightmare.
Oh, there would have been talks, I'm sure, in the camp. Now, the big question is, are you one of those drivers on the spreadsheet tonight?
No, unfortunately. I gave up my spot for Cade and Dozer, and they've been quite consistent most of the year, and they've had absolute stinkers tonight, unfortunately.
Oh, that is a shame indeed, because that's always been the strength of the Simboys and the weakness is the spreadsheet of doom. Whenever we find one of his teammates up on the podium position, it's always the wrong one.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Well, you kept yourself out of trouble all race long. I mean, a little bit touch and go there at the end for that final caution. You must have been taking a deep breath as the action erupted around you.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when a couple of lap cars decide to start racing. It's a bit unfortunate, and that's just the way it goes, unfortunately.
But you made it through unscathed, which is good news indeed. And coming home in third tonight, well, it must give you a little bit of confidence for the remaining couple of races.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm not even sure where the last 2 races are. Hopefully it's somewhere that doesn't require a lot of tyre saving.
Well, fingers crossed you can get those final couple of races under your belt and have some good results as well. And, you know, maybe just knock Gary off of his throne as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And a win to finish out the year would be awesome.
Absolutely. Look, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully next time we get you up here in the booth, it is because you have got that W next to your name. It worked for Troy when we spoke to him last time. Hopefully it'll rub off and work for you this time, Chris.
Let's hope so. We've heard of the commentator's curse. Let's hope this one's a bit of praise.
We'll see how this one plays out. But congratulations tonight, Chris. Before I let you go, though, the shout out to personal sponsors, personal people. We'll make Gary do the team stuff.
Yeah, no worries. A big shout out to the Simboys. Good group of blokes. Also, United Electrical Solutions and Hot Toddys Heating Installs. Those guys are really looking after us over the last couple of years.
Great to hear. Look, congratulations tonight, Chris. Welcome back to the podium positions. Good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully next time I see you, it'll be because you're up at the top step.
Thanks, Cole. We'll talk to you later on.
Chris Finley there for the Sim Boys, coming home in P3 tonight. Solid job for him. Just unfortunately, the spreadsheet not working its magic. Next up for the Pinnacle team, it is Mr. Raymond Yeager coming home in P2 tonight. A familiar feeling, I'm sure, seeing that green car in front of you.
My God, I'm sick to death of seeing the back of that car, mate.
He needs to.
Far out.
We need to get Gary to write a shout out for you or something across the back, because you've been seeing it a lot this season.
Unbelievable, mate. Like, he's just on a tear at the moment. Like, whenever he rocks up, he just wins. So, I thought I had him there, but obviously he could just duck under that apron at the end there, and that sort of made the difference. It was bloody close, though. And also he had Chris pushing him, so that probably gave him a little bit as well. So, yeah, that is what it is. Second's a good result, so we'll take it.
No, absolutely. Look, you can't be too disappointed. And well, Gary was off gallivanting around the globe for the first two races after the reset, and that must be making you feel a little bit more confident for your chances for the season.
Well, I was talking to the boys during the week, actually, or at the end of last week's race, and I was like, I think I only finished 10th last week because of Mello, and I was like, well, Gaz wins a couple, and he's probably going to go back past me. So, yeah, I don't know. He's he's just too good, mate.
I know it's impossible to beat him at the moment. It's frustrating, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Like, I mean, we've all been there, like on these sorts of runs where you can't really do anything wrong. And look, I feel like I'm on one of those as well. Like, honestly, I've been pretty much in the top 5 pretty much every race, but it sort of doesn't mean a lot when Gaz is either winning or coming third. So, yeah.
Well, gotta ask you, what happened on the terrible restart?
Oh, which one, mate? They were all terrible. My God.
The really bad one in the middle part of the race.
Yeah,
where,
that first restart, my God, I think I let 3 of the inside cars pass. Like, I don't know what happened. I started in second, which is the gear we're meant to start, but when Adam went, I just didn't go, and I just didn't put my foot down. And next minute, the second car and the inside's going past, and then the third car's going past. I'm like, I apologise to Chris, who was behind me. I was like, sorry, man, I don't know what I was doing there, but yeah, it was a shocker. I don't know if I've ever had a restart like that before. It's mental.
Well, you'll be happy to know we caught it in beautiful HD on the cameras as well.
Yeah, well, that's the best part about starting outside front, isn't it? Of course, you're going to be able to see it. So, yeah. No, I can't mind that one.
No escaping from that one. Look, coming up to the line, what were your plans? I mean, obviously Gary had that inside line. You trying to see if you could get underneath him for that final bit, or were you just going, I'm just going to try the outside, see what I can do?
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get underneath him, so I just pretty much decided I was going to try and pin him as low as I could in the corners without wrecking him, obviously, because we don't want to wreck to at the end there. So I was trying to pin him as low as I could through the corners, just to try and hinder his run off and give me a little bit of a better run off than him. But yeah, obviously he's got the apron to duck under at the end, so I knew he had that, and he also had Chris behind him. So I didn't really think I was going to be able to get across the line first, but did everything I could to pin him down, and I mean, we got pretty close. So.
You did indeed. And well, look, one championship you've got Gary Wellman to beat. The other championship, of course, the Sim Boys to beat. But tonight they had a bit of an off night with their two charted cars having a very rough evenings, finishing way down the points.
Yeah, it's lucky for us that they've got 7 blokes to choose from every week, because they get it wrong most weeks and keep us in it. So, I think if they had chose Finley and Walsh with Wellman tonight, they would have killed us. But they chose Donnelly and Davidson, who both got in that first wreck. So, yeah, a bit lucky. We'll take it, and could put us top of the table if we weren't before.
No, absolutely. I was going to say as well, because we saw Justin getting back out there to try and scrape some points by, unfortunately. But Greg getting it up there tonight, it's not a bad evening for the team.
No, it should be all right. I think the inside lane boys ran really well tonight, so they'll probably get the most points out of the teams. But we'll probably be second, I'd say, with me and Greg finishing in the top 7, I think, and just got back out there. And that's the super important thing. Like, when you're in the team, he blew his engine on that first wreck, and that's 20 minutes of required damage that needs to be repaired. So it's easy to just put the queue in the rack and leave. But when he's in the team, he stuck around and he got back out there and he gained a couple of positions at the end and got us a couple extra points. So yeah, it's pretty important for the team's championship, that sort of teamwork.
No, absolutely. Look, it's a big old thing to get. Both of those championships very hard to fight for, and lots of competition going on. But tonight, you sort of did all you could. P2 tonight, not a bad finish, but that Gary Wellman Blake just keeps nipping you at the bud. Congratulations tonight, Raymond. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing, the love, the shout out to sponsors. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, obviously we've got RKJ Web Services for the team in the league, Whitcher Electrix for the team in the league. My Private Cellar, major sponsor for the league and also on board with the team as well. United Electrical Solutions and Hot Toddys Heating Installs on board with the league, and you boys at Performance E-Streaming. Like I say every time I'm up here, you do an amazing job every week. I watch it back, and it's just getting better every week. Your boys cool. So sick of hearing the Wellman name, but I suppose that's hard to dodge when he wins every week. So yeah.
Congratulations tonight, Raymond. And Flattery will win you many, many places with us. Congratulations tonight for second, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon.
No worries, guys. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Raymond Yeager there for Pinnacle taking P2 tonight. And finally, he is back from Vietnam. He is back from vacation and back with a bang. It's almost like he's not missed a beat. It is Gary Wellman, tonight's winner. Gary, welcome back to the booth, mate. And look, business as normal.
Yeah, pretty happy to pick up where I left off. So yeah, that was a good race, that one.
We were sort of asking, maybe to that little vacation, just adding a little bit of rust to you, just making you too relaxed, and you might not get that win tonight. And then, of course, come final few laps, you're up there battling for first place, and get your nose across the line and take out another win this season.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I did an NASCAR race the other night, and I lasted about 5 laps, and I was into the wall and DNF. So I thought, geez, maybe my luck has changed, but no, it was good. I got there tonight.
Absolutely, back on to usual circumstances tonight. It's good to see you back in your normal ways in the 45. A really solid run tonight from yourself. You were up at the front all night long. We saw you sort of really keeping yourself up in contention, and most importantly, keeping yourself out of trouble.
Yeah, that's it. I was sort of dodging wrecks at the start there, and there's a bit hit and miss whether you get through some of those. But I got through that okay, and then I was kind of just sitting on Ray there, and I knew he'd be pretty strong tonight, so I was just trying to just tail on him, and he almost broke me there towards the end of that tyre run, and come out of the pits, tack back onto him, and I thought, yeah, could be a chance here.
Absolutely, we saw with the sort of late cautions and sort of the pit stops and things like that. We saw you getting yourself back out there, and you took a bit of a longer run as well, and that looked like it helped you out a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't really do any calcs on fuel, so I thought I'll just maybe stay out a few laps longer than Ray just to make sure. And at the end that wasn't really an issue anyway with that caution, but just wanted to play it safe there because I knew I probably had a good podium sewn up if it went green the rest of the way.
Absolutely, and well, you didn't just have a good podium; you had another win for yourself this season. What's the secret?
I don't know. She's all changed this season. I don't know. I'd been bad luck last season, and I was doing dumb stuff too, just getting black flags and pits and stuff like that. So I seem to have ironed a bit of that out this year, and got a better feel for tyre wear and all that, and know when to sort of go hard and when to sort of conserve. So I think it all just comes with a bit more racing, and I've probably done a bit of that lately. So it all helps.
Like seat time always adds a couple of extra seconds, and it is helping at the moment. A great patch for you. I mean, obviously that little vacation that's hurt the championship chances, you got to say, but with a victory tonight, that's obviously going to help you get back into contention. Yeah,
I haven't had too much of a look, but I kind of wrote it off after missing 2 rounds. But I'll be interested to see how it all comes out in the wash. But maybe if I get up here a couple more times, you never know, I suppose, do you? It's like, you never know.
Absolutely, and quite a few of your championship contenders as well had had a bit of a bad night tonight and not such an easy time last time as well. So, you know, I think you're still well in with a chance. And well, we know how consistent you are with getting yourself on the podium this season. Every race you've started in the Australasian Supercar eSeries brought to you by My Private Sellers has been a podium or a win.
Yeah, that's it. That's yeah, definitely. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. So try and keep that up. But yeah, I don't know, Ray, he's super consistent this year as well. So he's probably the man to beat. He seems to be the only one dodging all the wrecks and the bad luck. But I don't know, maybe his luck will change sometime soon too.
Absolutely. I just said to him before, you know, you're going to have to put a little message on the back of your car, Gary, just to say to Raymond, you know, sorry about your luck, you know, something like that, just to let him know that you're thinking of him back there staring at the back of your car.
Yeah, no, he's been bridesmaid a couple of times, but he's also got a win or two, so he's doing well.
Look, congratulations tonight, Gary. It's great to have you back and great to have you back in winning ways. Before I let you go, though, the love, the shout out to sponsors. It's your job tonight because you're the highest finishing sim boy. Go for it, mate. You've earned it.
Yeah, cheers, Carl. Yes, just team sponsors, Hot Toddys and United Electrical, all the sim boys for having a good run every week and jumping in and having a few laughs. What do we got? You guys for the broadcasts. Obviously, Australasian Supercar series, we love it. My partner Alana for tuning in probably up there. So thanks for watching, and also well done Chris on with P3. It was good to see him get on the podium too.
Absolutely great job tonight. Just a shame the spreadsheet didn't quite pay off tonight.
No, not quite. Actually, we didn't even use the spreadsheet this week. We kind of, I think even if we did, it wouldn't have worked. So that's all right.
No, that's what's to blame. You didn't use the spreadsheet. That's where it all went wrong.
Yeah, that's it. But anyway, we'll still be thereabouts. So yeah, we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, congratulations tonight, Gary. Good luck for next week, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon, mate.
Yep. Cheers, boys. Catches.
Gary Wellman there for Sim Boys, the Mean Green Machine, taking victory tonight after his holiday. It's been one heck of a season for the 45, but it's not over and done yet. We still have 3 more races to go, so it's plenty of action still to come for this season 6 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. But for tonight, we are done and dusted. But we'll have more action for you coming up next week here on Performance E Streaming with the Anscar Cup, where we will be at.
Oh, that's put me on the spot. I think we're at Pocono for Anscar Cup this week.
We
yeah.
are.
Yes. No,
Yep.
yep.
We are at the next V8 race will be at Phoenix. So
Wonderful.
next Sunday we'll be at Phoenix, and then but on Thursday we will be at Pocono for a cup.
The tricky triangle will be causing all kinds of havoc. So we look forward to seeing you all next week for some more rounds of broadcasting. We'll be back with you Thursday night for that action. And of course, don't forget to catch some of the replay race highlights being popped up on the channel by Mr. Matt Hunter himself, doing all the hard work in the background as always, getting lots of content up on the channel for you guys to watch. But well, for tonight, I'm going to be wishing you all a good night. From myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson, with you, of course, Mr. Mark Johansson and Matt Hunter. We will wish you a good night, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.